this out of the way. Alright. Today on Ugly Planes, we're not going to talk about a plane. We're going to, in fact, talk about something a little different. Here is my legendary wooden Hexcopter. This is version 2. Version 1 plowed into the ground. I don't know if... Not sure what happened, but long story short, got a new one now. I actually had this one for a few years now, and it's had some changes over the years as well. So pretty much the big claim to fame, but the big Freudian slip there. The big claim to fame with this sucker is this is all made out of wood, for the most part, held together by good old-fashioned polyurethane Gorilla Glue. Really, not much to say other than that. It's been pretty rugged. Did have a pretty good crash the other day. I was so involved in the mission planner and looking at all the cool stuff, didn't pay attention to that the battery was dying. And yeah, you get caught up in the moment and just battery alarm. I had turned it off because it kept annoying me because I had it set to at too high of a voltage, and apparently I set it too low, and well, it had a pretty hard landing. But after a few little repairs and some good old-fashioned clamps and whatnot, I was able to get her back together, and she flies just as good as the day I first built it. I had several gimbals over the years. This is by far, this is a Terra, or Terra, whatever, however you pronounce it. It's by far the best gimbal for the money. It's just about DJI quality, without DJI price tag. It has a very, very good feel to it. It does have the sensor here, so that way it can sense when this moves. It's not waiting for it to try to adjust, so it's able to make more accurate corrections and all that and so on. So yeah, this is a really good unit. I have been thoroughly impressed with the quality of this. Put your little GoPro sessions in there. Does fantastic. It also has GPS. I've got, I think, what was it? An 8, a U-Blox 8. Got a Pixhawk 2. Well, Pixhawk, whatever it is. Version 2.4 titanium. Anyways, sorry, I didn't want to spend the amount of money that I pretty much spent on all of this combined on just this. Yeah, I just bought the one from China. It's worked so far. I can't really complain. It's been working. I use a Turnigy. I probably don't need this big one. I was using, before I had the old flight controller on there, but now with the Pixhawk you can do PPM right in there, so you only need one cable. Actually, just 2 wires. I do have battery monitoring on there. Just need to use it. Of course, it does have built-in battery monitoring with the Pixhawk. I've got the power module, whatever, stuffed in here. This is going to be one of those boards. It's got all the cool stuff. It's got the 12 volts built in, the 5 volts built in, makes coffee, does everything. Got a little shock mount here, which the Pixhawk's attached to. Got a little bit of stuff to try to make it nice and, well, neater. Relatively speaking, it's still pretty ugly. It's why it's still on the Ugly Planes channel. It does satisfy at least one of the requirements. It is ugly, but you know what? Believe it or not, it turns heads. People like it. It's cool. It's different because it's not just another drone. And yeah, pretty much that's all there really is to it. I really enjoy it. It's been a absolutely fantastic, fun. I was stuffing the battery in here, and that was a pain in the ass to get in and out. Now I just saddle it underneath here, and if I don't have the gimbal on it, I can take the gimbal off. I can put a little bit heavier battery on here. Max, E-Max motors, 810 kV. I've got carbon fiber props. I think these are 10-inch props. good old-fashioned carbon fiber, which is the irony of it. Got a wooden frame with carbon fiber props, but carbon fiber has a hidden secret. One, they don't some of the plastic ones you have to be really careful. And I'm pretty sure it's what happened to my first one, is that I kind of had a little bit of a tip over during a landing. I think it cracked one of the props. I think the prop blew off, caused it to crash, because I was just flying it and hit the ground. So the carbon fibers are much sturdier. Of course, you do have to check them because they can still crack and fray, but they typically fail a little differently than the plastic. The plastic kind of fail catastrophically. These, you can hit pretty dang hard and be okay. I mean, you really can rough and tough this thing to the ground. Now, these are the little cheap eBay ones, which is fine. The cheap ones are okay as long as they're reasonably good quality. You want to make sure that you take them and stress them. I mean, you don't try to break them, but put some stress on there and to make sure they're all good. If they're all good, balance them. They will not be balanced. In fact, the main difference between the cheap ones and the expensive ones is the expensive ones are already balanced. They're already pre-balanced, so all you have to do is just throw them on and go. Very little balancing. These, you can see some of these, I've really had to trim these up pretty good to begin to balance out. I think actually this one's missing about 1/4 of an inch, so it's more like a 9 3/4 prop. But it's what it takes to make it happen, because I'm cheap. It does have retractable landing gear, which is really cool. Completely unnecessary, since the gimbal's far enough front that it's not a big deal, but it still is really cool. And one aspect that is nice with the retractable landing gear is that if you have a crosswind blowing, it does reduce your cross section, but most importantly, it just looks really cool when it folds up. It's really nifty. They do spin. I do try to glue them. I'll probably take the 3D printer and see if I can make a coupling to kind of make this slot up into there, but probably won't, because I've got 1,000 other projects. As you can see, the catastrophe that's all around. I've got all kinds of new projects and all that going on. So it's one of those things where I'm not much of a fine tuner. When it starts to work, I just say screw it. I'm gonna just keep on trucking. So anyhow, well, I hope this has a little bit of inspiration that you don't have to use the typical types of construction. I will say though is that if you do make one of these, make sure you brace the crap out of it, because this birch plywood is really sturdy as long as you use it to where its strengths are, which means you have to box it in. If you leave it open, it will flex. In fact, before I added this would flex a lot. Same thing here. That's why I got this nice big piece here now. So that's really important. ESCs, I think these are just generic 30 amp ESCs. What are they? Maybe, yeah, I think these are some eBay specials. Haba, whatever. But they got Simon K firmware on there, so they do pretty good. Of course, the Pixhawk, got the little button here. I think I took the buzzer off or it fell off. But yeah, so you can kind of know whatever. Up here is where you can have the this is the other half, because it kind of broke off whenever I had my crash landing. But this is where your radio receiver is for your telemetry, and it's loads of fun. I really enjoy it. So hopefully this is an inspiration for you. And if you have any questions about how I did this, let me know. I can give you the drawing too. I think I got it stuff somewhere. I had a website. I need to get the website set up where I can actually start putting this crap on there so you guys can download it and all that fun stuff. But I've been procrastinating it, and I paid for a year of hosting and I never really used it, so I need to get onto that. So anyways, hope you enjoyed this, and another day of ugly planes, except for this time it's a ugly multi-rotor, or drone as you yuppies or whatever call it.